we were discussing ratio analysis, and yesterday we have done current ratio. So 2-3 types of questions we have done. First type was simple information was given to you. You have to sort out current assets and current liabilities from that. Then you have calculated current ratio. Then second type of questions was that working capital information is given, and then with the help of that information, first you were calculating current assets and current liabilities, and then you were calculating current ratio. Now sometimes you get such type of question which is on your screen now, that you have to decide whether due to this reason, due to this transaction, your current ratio will improve, means increase, or it will decrease, or there will be no change in the current ratio. So for that purpose, first thing which you should note that you should take some example, and you should assume some amount of this transaction also if it is not given, and then try to calculate the current ratio. With the help of that, you will be able to decide whether the ratio is improving or it is decreasing or it is not changing. Then sometimes it is also possible that we will observe that whether numerator is changing or denominator is changing, and due to that change we will be able to decide whether the ratio will increase, decrease, or there will be no change. So we will practice one question, just observe it. Now see, first is cash paid to trade payables. It is saying, question, read the question first. Current ratio of a company is 2:1. So right now your current ratio is 2:1. We can assume, here I will assume as, suppose my current assets are suppose rupees 2 lakh, and suppose my current liabilities are rupees 1 lakh. As the question is saying that your current ratio is 2:1, I have decided accordingly that my current assets are 2 lakh and my current liabilities are 1 lakh. You can see current ratio will be coming 2:1. Now, first transaction given in the question is cash paid to trade payables. So now amount is not given. So I will assume its amount. Suppose I assume its amount rupees 50,000. You have paid cash rupees 50,000. Now you have to observe the change. First change will be in your current assets, because you are paying cash. So your current assets will reduce by 50,000. I hope this point is clear. And your current assets will become now 1,50,000. Same way, if I calculate current liabilities, so your current liabilities are right now 1 lakh, and it will also get reduced because you are paying your liabilities will also reduce. So your liabilities will be now 50,000. So now if you will calculate the ratio current assets upon current liabilities, it will be 3:1. It will be 3:1. So this way I get my answer that my current ratio will improve. So here I have to write the reason. So I will write the reason as both current assets and current liabilities are decreasing by the same amount, the ratio will current ratio will improve. And you can give it as working note also. You can give it as working note also. Now the second one is sale of fixed tangible assets for cash. Sale of fixed tangible assets for cash. So now you have to observe the change again. So when you are selling your fixed assets, you will be getting cash. So for second, suppose I assume its amount, let's see, current assets are your 2 lakh. Then because you are selling it for cash, obviously you will be receiving some cash, and cash is part of current assets. So cash is part of current assets, your current assets will increase. Suppose I take the amount 40,000. So your current assets will become 2,40,000. And suppose now see your current liabilities. Because you are selling your fixed assets and you are receiving cash, there will be no change in current liabilities. So current liabilities will remain same. So now if I calculate current ratio, it will come 2.4 ratio 1. Current ratio will be 2.4 ratio 1. And another way is there for doing this transaction, that suppose you can see that only numerator is increasing. There is no change in the denominator. Numerator is increasing because in numerator current assets are there. That's why you can decide that your current assets current ratio will be improving. So you can write reason here. Only current assets are increasing. So current ratio will improve. Now third transaction is issue of new shares for cash. So when you are issuing shares for cash, obviously you will be receiving cash. So your cash will increase and that's why your current assets will increase. But at the same time, there is no change. So same reason will be there that your current ratio will improve. Only current assets are increasing, so current ratio will improve. I hope you are getting how to do this. So you may get such question also in your exams, in objective type questions also you can get it. Payment of final dividend already declared. Now first thing is that you should be clear about the meaning of dividend. So dividend is the amount of profit which a company distribute to the shareholders out of the profits earned. So now you are paying the dividend to the shareholders. So when you will be paying the dividend, obviously your cash will get reduced. And because your cash is reducing, uh, your liability will also be reducing. because your dividend is also whatever the dividend you have declared, that is also your liability. So that's why because it will be reducing by the same amount. Current assets and current liabilities will be reducing by the same amount. That's why it will be improving your current ratio. You can see the first point. Okay, payment. Now next point is purchasing goods on cash. Purchasing goods on cash, or you can say purchasing goods for cash. So if you are purchasing goods for cash, obviously your cash will get reduced, but at the same time your stock will increase. If you are purchasing goods for cash, obviously your stock will increase and your cash will decrease. So both are the components of current assets. Both are the components of current assets. Your one component of current asset is increasing and one component of current asset is decreasing by the same amount. So if you observe it clearly, there will be no change in the value of current assets. There will be no change in the value of the current assets. And simultaneously, there will be no change in the value of current liabilities also. That's why there will be no change in the current ratio, as current assets and current liabilities are not changing. Current ratio will not change. In two, stock was decreasing. In two, if you will observe, stock is not decreasing. Your fixed assets are decreasing. Now it's clear. In point number two, your stock is not decreasing. Your fixed assets are decreasing. Okay. Now point number six, company issued 1 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each to the vendors of machinery purchased. So now what is happening? First thing, that you have purchased a machinery. It is not a component of current asset. So that's why your current assets will not change. Then you are issuing shares, but you are issuing shares for consideration other than cash. So you are not receiving any cash. That's why your current assets will not change. Now coming to the current liabilities portion. Because you are issuing shares, your share capital will be increasing. Now share capital is not a component of current liabilities. So your share capital is increasing, but it is not affecting current liabilities. Your fixed assets are increasing, but it is again not a part of current assets. So that's why this transaction is not affecting either current assets or current liabilities. So that's why again there will be answer is that current ratio will not change. I hope the logic is clear. So the same will be applied here. So your current assets are also not changing, your current liabilities are also not changing. Now next is redeemed 9% debentures of rupees 1 lakh at a premium of 10%. Now first thing which you have to decide is that you are redeeming the debentures. You are redeeming the debentures. So debentures are not part of current liability. Generally debentures are not part of current liability. So there will be means debentures are part of non-current liability. Then second thing is that you are paying them cash because you are redeeming debentures. Obviously, you will be paying them cash. So because you are paying cash, your current assets will decrease. Your cash will get decreased. So current liabilities will remain same and current assets will decrease. That's why what will happen because your numerator is decreasing. So that's why your answer can be that current ratio will decrease. Current assets are decreasing. So current ratio will decrease. Current ratio will decrease. But it can have another answer also. In balance sheet, when I was teaching you balance sheet in first chapter, I told you that if your debentures are about to redeem in the next year, in the coming year, then obviously that debentures will be shifted from non-current liability to the current liability portion. So if you have somehow treated that debenture because now you are redeeming, so if somehow you have treated it in the last balance sheet as current liability, then obviously your current liabilities will also be decreasing simultaneously. So if you have treated it as current liability, then you will say that my current liability is also reducing and my current assets are also reducing by the same amount. And in that case, what will happen? The ratio will increase. So you have to mention clearly your assumption, that according to what assumption you are answering, or better is that you answer for both with reason, and whatever the answer suits to the examiner, he will evaluate, and both answers will be considered right. So second answer can be that current ratio, I will add complete current assets and current liabilities are reducing by same amount. So current ratio will improve. Current ratio will improve. So there can be two answers of this transaction, and you should write both answers. I will suggest that. So, but you should write the assumption on which like here you can write in the bracket that not debentures not treated as current liability. Debentures not treated as current liability. And here you should write assumptions. If debentures are treated as current liability. Same is the case with this transaction also. Payment of final dividend already declared. There is a little bit change in the accounting treatment of dividend, so that we will be discussing in future. Right now you do this only. I will be making this second point also clear to you. This is question 6. Okay. This is a short question. Let me shift it to the next page. The current liabilities of a company were rupees 1,20,000 and its current ratio was 2:1. After this, it paid rupees 30,000 to a creditor. Calculate the current ratio after the payment. So first thing, you need to calculate the current assets for that purpose. So if your current ratio was 2:1 and current liabilities were 1,20,000, so obviously current assets were double of your current liabilities. So your current assets will be is equal to 2 multiplied by current liabilities. So your current assets will be 2 multiplied by 1,20,000 and your current assets will be 2,40,000. Now it is saying that you have paid a liability of 30,000. So that's why your current assets will become now how much? Current assets after payment is equal to 2,40,000 minus 30,000. It will be 2,10,000. Your current liabilities after payment will be 1,20,000 minus 30,000, because you have paid creditors of 30,000, it will reduce by 30,000. So your current liabilities will be 90,000. So your current ratio is equal to current assets upon current liabilities is equal to 2,10,000 divided by 90,000, and it can be termed as 21 divided by 9, and it can be 7 divided by 3. Now we can divide it easily. So 3 to the 6, 1 is remainder, 2 point, then 3 to the 9, and this way you can write it 2.3:1. So your current ratio will be now 2.3:1. Rest we will do in the next lesson. If any query is there, you can send your query.